So we've got a few questions here from a student of mine wanting to know a couple of different things. I'm going to make a short video on each of these questions. Let's start off with this one. What is asexual and sexual reproduction? Well, basically, asexual means you would have one parent, and sexual reproduction would mean using two parents. So think about all the different. So almost every animal uses sexual reproduction. Basically, they have a mum and a dad, and the mum and dad make a baby, and that baby grows up, and that baby can eventually, when it becomes an adult, can find another, and then female, male, and they can make a baby, and so on. So that's sexual reproduction. Two parents, okay? It's nothing to do with. Well, basically, it's just so sexual reproduction just means two parents. Now what? So the other thing to realize about this includes plants. Plants use almost all, well, not always, but most of the time, plants use two parents. So plants would use pollen, and one plant would produce pollen, and that could be carried by the wind, or carried by an insect, or carried by an animal sometimes, and then that would be delivered to another plant. So so basically, the plant that produces the pollen is the acting like the father, the dad, and the plant that's receiving the pollen is like the mother. So there's two parents in that case. So whenever there's two parents, we're talking sexual reproduction. Okay, asexual reproduction is one parent, and there are some examples of asexual reproduction would be bacteria. So bacteria are very, very simple organisms, just have one cell and a sort of a loop of DNA. And what happens is they just split in two. So starts off with one, and then that splits into two. And now we have two bacteria. So that one parent, and it splits into two, so that is asexual reproduction. Now you do have types of asexual reproduction with actually some other plants and even some animals, where they would again, it would just be one parent, and they've worked out a way to produce a copy of themselves without having to find a mate, having to find another animal to have sex with, basically. So but also you can also have plants doing the same thing. So potatoes, for example, produce little potatoes alongside of them, and those potatoes grow and produce more potatoes, and so on. Also, strawberries can use asexual reproduction as well. So there are ways that other plants and even some animals use asexual reproduction. But once again, sexual reproduction simply means two parents. Asexual means one parent.